Hey guys, today we're going to take this 12-volt battery box and make it a 24-volt conversion. So it'll run my 50 amp hour 24-volt Roy Powell LifePo 4 battery and get my NK180 rocking and rolling. But as you can see, there's a lot of different accessories and ports that I can't run off a 24-volt battery, even though it fits perfectly in here. So we're going to get into a wire, and when I say we, I'm really talking about my brother. Back by popular demand, we're gonna open this thing up and we're gonna show you how to wire it up. So I'm gonna put a step down in there and we're gonna put everything you need to make this conversion in the description below. So, ready to rock and roll? Let's do it. All right guys, I wanna show you how this fits perfectly in here. That's it. End of the day, we'll be able to run the NK180 straight into these ports. We're gonna do some quick connects. So we'll get into all that first. We gotta take all this apart.
As we got the lid off, so it's got this little protective shield on here, so there's gonna be 4 screws off the top.
That looks fun.
Yep.
Most people are like, hard pass, not doing that.
All right guys, a little theory of operation here. So obviously we have our connections that go to our trolling motor. On the inside, these hook up to our battery. And we come through here, we have our big fuse. I believe it's a 50 amp fuse that goes to our trolling motor battery. And then we have a little splice or dogleg off here that goes into our so we got a US little car charger port here. And also a little USB for your phone charger.
Those won't work unless we...
So it'd work great if you were hooking up a 12-volt battery, because then these are wired to run up off of 12 volts. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out of here and hook it up to our step-down transformer. So we're going to bring 24 volts. So this is a 24 to 12-volt transformer. So we're going to bring in 24 volts, and then out of that 24 out of this solid state transformer, we'll get 12 volts out. So pretty simple.
What would happen if you were just to hook this up and try to run it? Would it just not work, or would you actually ruin it?
It'd probably blow the fuse, and it may blow these out too. I'm not exactly sure. It wouldn't really work properly. Usually on electronics, you get plus or minus 10% on your voltage input, and then you get much side out of that and things aren't going to work. This line here coming off the positive, and then this line here coming off the negative, we're going to disconnect those. And we're going to hook those into our 12-volt output. And then we're going to make 2 additional jumpers to come one off of here, and one off the negative, one off the positive, and come into our 24-volt input. Here I'm going to make up a couple jumpers, and we'll go from there.
We got some wire over here. Obviously, it's a little too big, but...
In a perfect world, you would use what they call it hookup wire. This is looks like it's 10 gauge stranded, so it's really overkill for what we're doing, but it's what we got, and it'll work for what we're doing here. All right, so here's our cover to cover up the electronics. So as you can see in here, we got plenty of room up in this area. So we're gonna mount this thing on the back side here, and then when it goes in there like that, it'll just sit up there nice and tight, and that'll work. So we're gonna go ahead and get that mounted up, then I'm gonna cut my wires a length, and start getting this thing hooked up.
All right, got that mounted to the underside. This is what you're gonna see when we put it all back together. We're gonna disconnect the negative. That's a 12mm socket.
All right, and then on the positive side here, we got a 7mm socket. We need to get this yellow wire
off the fuse.
Off of the fuse, yep.
All right, guys, we're gonna disconnect this yellow wire from the fuse, but in order to get to it and have some angle, you have to twist this off the top, get it out of the way.
And then on this one, you can do the same thing. Take that out of there, or you can get yourself one of these. If you don't have one of these, just take this whole fuse out of here like we did this one. You can get on it with a straight blade. All right, we got this wire off there, and then looking at it, and it will reach where we're going. It's not quite good enough to fit in there, so what we're going to do is we're just going to file down the edges a little bit here.
Does it fit?
Yep, got that filed down.
Ooh, like a glove.
Yep. Little pro tip, guys, when you file, you always want to push forward, lift off. You don't want to go both ways.
How come?
Well, the way these teeth are ground in there, you'll dull your file if you pull back on it. You always want to push forward. So originally, this yellow wire here was originally hooked to here, along with the battery cable. So it brought the 12, what originally would have been 12 volt, into the smaller circuit. So we took that off of here, going into our our transformer here. So this yellow wire into the 12 volt positive. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this yellow wire over here that was on the negative. That's going to come off. We're going to snip that terminal, get a smaller one there, and that's going to go on our 12 volt negative. This is terminated as you could just stick this wire in there, put that on there. Best practice on stranded is you would tin this with a soldering iron before you did that, but it would work for what we're doing either way. Since we have these little crimp terminals, we're going to go ahead and use that. Give it a good tug. We're good. Guys, we have our 12 volt side hooked up. Now we got to get our 24 volt from our terminals into the transformer. So I'm going to cut off a little piece of jumper here for both sides, and we'll show you how we hook that up.
So essentially what we're going to do is take the negative and throw it to the negative, right?
Correct.
Positive to the positive.
This one here to the negative, and then over here we're going to run from the positive to this terminal of the fuse. So I got my piece of wire here cut. You're going to need a terminal. This one's a little big, but it will work because of the way that the nut goes on there with the washer.
Can you put the wire, just wrap it around here?
No, that's not on something like this. On a light switch or receptacle, that is, with a solid wire, you can do that, but when you're working with stranded wire, you can't make a loop like that and just tighten it down. So.
I will throw the link to these in the description below.
And then on the crimping here, there's some fancy tools out here for general work. I like this style. Klein makes these, and all. Like this is the Thomas Betts, but it's just this is for your non-insulated, then back here is for your insulated terminal. So this will do 90% of what your typical guy in the garage is going to need. So.
And we're a guy in the garage right now.
Yes, we are.
All right, don't forget, take your negative to your negative.
Yep. Again, this is a huge wire we're putting in here. It's going to work. Not ideal, but...
What gauge would you recommend for this? What gauge is it?
What they have on here is 16 gauge, which is fine. So just 16 gauge hookup wire, automotive hookup wire, and you'll be good to go. On this one, we're going to come back in here, and essentially we're just going to reattach the way this was before, just with our new green jumper instead of the yellow jumper that was here.
That's going to go the positive 24 volt connection on the converter. All right, let's hook them up.
Yep. We got everything connected. Before we get this mounted back in here, we just a little walkthrough we did. So we got battery power coming in, 24 volts into our terminal before the fuse. That gets jumpered over here, 24 volt positive, into our solid state transformer here on the positive side. And then we have the negative 24 just coming directly from the battery post, which is essentially this. And then outputting that, so we get the positive come over there to our fuse for the 10 amp on the 12 volt, and then the negative over here where it was. So, all right, just quick test. So coming off the battery here, we're showing 26.6 volts. And I think what this show, that's an 80% charge.
Yep.
So if you looked at the battery table, that voltage probably corresponds to, somewhere between 80 and 100. And then I can actually reach in here to where the little plug charger's at. I can hit those two terminals, and we're at 12.16 volts. So
it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yep.
Do the honors, bro.
So we did this as well. We plugged it in and nothing's happening. Well, if you read the instructions here, you got to hit the test button to wake up the box.
Boom.
As soon as you hit that, pops it on.
We're charging, folks.
Yep.
It works. It's alive. Next we got to do is put quick connects on, but it's getting late tonight, so we're going to have to come back and do that some other time. So we're almost there, and we got to put all these on here, so we don't have to unscrew this, screw it back up. So anytime I get back from the water, I'll simply disconnect it real fast, or disconnect it, put it on a charger, be good to go. Problem for another night. What do you think?
I like it. It's going good.
I'm back. I'm going to finish up this project. So what we're going to do is put some Anderson plugs on here. So this is coming from my motor. So I got to cut these, strip it down a little bit, put these guys on. I wish I got to put together. All right, snip, snip, snip. All right, strip these down. There we go. That's one. Now what we want to do is put these on the ends in here, and then you're going to crimp those down. And since I have some of these guys, I'll go ahead and use it. Put that in like that, and crimp it. One crimp, and do it again. There we go. I'm gonna run some heat shrink tubing over this, Heat that up real fast. All right, found some heat shrink tubes. Put those over. These fit nicely. Let that cool for a moment, and we'll put the plug on. All right, guys, you just push these on through. And you push them through all the way to the end. And they should click like that. And that's how you know. Make sure it's plugged into the positive, negatives into the negative. And so that little lip there, the hump is going to go into the back side on the top. And you can push that through. You can push it all the way over the lip. If you're having trouble, what you can do is kind of put this down and then push it through, and then it'll click in. And then you'll be good to go. I got my Anderson plug hooked up for my motor. Now I'm going to turn around and do one for the battery. All right, guys, I didn't walk through the same steps I just did, but made one for the battery as well, and have these terminals. So what will happen is that this will go in here, I'll tighten it up. Once this is on, I'll never have to take it off again. And this one over here. There we go. Push it right together. Snap. Look at that. So easy, even a caveman can do it. Hey guys, hopefully it was helpful for you. I got a video of the YouTube robot things you're gonna absolutely love. Check that out right there. Thanks for watching. See ya.